we did disconnect for a second. I'm so sorry about that. If you can hear me, let me know. Okay, I see people still saying the signal's lost. Okay, I'm just going to wait for confirmation that you guys can hear me again before I continue. Oh, I think we are still... Okay, I think we're back. I'm just going to confirm that we have signal. Okay, I'm just waiting for someone to confirm that we are back. Hi Max, I see Max in the class. And see me, please. Okay, so we are back. I'm just waiting for the link to be shared so that we can get everyone back into the live. A Cricut. Everyone, I think we are back again. I am so sorry about that. I'm just going to wait a minute to get everyone here. Now who's late? It's me, it's me. Okay, I see Mumtaz back. I see Sarah back. Hello ladies, thank you so much for coming back. I have no idea what happened. We just got disconnected. Facebook was being a little bit strange earlier today. Right before the class, it was just blank. So I don't know if we're having a little bit of technical issue with Facebook, but I'm hoping that it's gonna let us finish this class with no more hiccups. Okay, so if you were here in the class earlier, we were creating this design. So hello Zelda, now you're on time. So I did fix my typo here and I added my exclamation point. That's what I was trying to do before we got disconnected. So here you can see I've got the words on, I've got the Happy Women's Day on. This is pretty much my base for my design. And so let me bring this to the front, and then I'm going to add the words and the I love you a bunchy. So here's a scrunchie. I'm just adding that into the group of my base. So now you can see if I move these, they go together forever. All right, Kamal said now you've arrived, you can start. Kamal, did you jinx us? Is that why we disconnected? All right, so there's my base, and the very last thing I need to do is pop on the woman where I want her to be. And I decided here is where I wanted it. So you can see it is pretty much spot on. And the last thing I did here is with the other designs, I decided to add the little cutout. So before I do that, if you look at my design now, you will see that all of the elements are still in basic cut, which means if I send this to the mat now, it's not going to print, it's going to cut. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab all of it, I'm going to group it together, and then I'm going to flatten it. Now flattening your project turns it into a print then cut. I'm going to go back and show you another way you can do that as well. Okay, so I flattened it, which turned it all into a print then cut. What you can also do while you are designing, if you wanted only certain elements to be print then cut, for example, if I click on the flower woman and I come up here to operations and I click print then cut, you can see it's turned her into a print then cut. Now, if I did this for all of the elements, so this is just something for beginners because this is a question that we see very often in the group where people will say, for example, why is it cutting out all of the letters and not the full arch? Why are my letters being cut out separately? And this is the reason why I'm going to show you. So I turned this lady into a print then cut. If I just turned the rest of this design, so let me ungroup it. Let me move her over here for now. Let me turn this into a print then cut in the same way. Or if I flattened it and I put her back here and I grouped this, what's going to happen when it goes to the mat is going to cut out the lady separately. Just because they are on top of each other and they are both print then cut doesn't mean that it's going to cut out separately. I mean, together. So the way you actually do this, I'm going to go back again, is you always need the piece that you want to be your cutout. There needs to be a backing, there needs to be a piece at the back. So for example, if I want this to cut out exactly as I'm seeing it, I'm going to grab all of it and flatten everything onto the back arch. So onto that tanned color is what I'm flattening all the other elements onto, which means when I send it to the mat, the only thing it's going to cut out is the arch. Okay, so that is a mistake I see a lot of beginners making. They will flatten each element, or they will turn each element into a print then cut, and then they will either attach or they will group, usually attach and send it to the mat, and then each of the letters are being cut out separately. This is the reason. So you need to make sure that you have a solid piece at the back that you want to cut out. So that is our design ready to go. And then the last piece that I did is I just added 2 triangles to the mat. So turning this, I turned it like 90 degrees and just changed the size of it. Okay, so something like this. And I just placed it here. This would definitely depend on the size of your scrunchie that you have. And then I duplicated it and put the next one here. With this, you don't have to change the color because it's going to cut out. It's not going to print. So I'm just going to align these center vertically. I'm going to combine and weld them. You can turn it to white, but because I'm not flattening it, I'm only leaving it here as a basic cut, and I'm attaching it. It's not going to print, it's only going to cut out those cutouts. And so that way you can adjust and amend it. It's not permanent. There you go. So this is our designs, how we created the design. I'm going to bring back my second one. I created this one exactly the same way I created the first one. Did everyone go get snacks while we got disconnected? I hope you did, so that we can make this fun. So now I'm going to click make. And you can see here it's placed my images together on the mat, nothing separate, everything is going in the same place. I'm going to come here and I'm going to turn this to an A4, which has moved one of them away, so I'm just going to move it back onto the same mat. Okay, just making sure they're not overlapping. Okay. And now I'm going to click continue. Now before this stage, while I'm still on my canvas, what I would do is calibrate my Joy Xtra to make sure that I'm getting the best cuts. And we will do this at the end of the class because we had a little bit of a detour. I'm going to do that with you at the end. Okay, before we go any further, so all I'm using for this scrunchie is I'm using photo paper. It is a 200 GSM photo paper. You want something that's a little bit thicker, so a 200 GSM photo paper or more, or heavy cardstock would be good because then it's not going to be too flimsy for your holder. Okay, let's go back to Design Space. Okay, so now I'm going to send to printer. And it shows you here with the arrow the way you need to put it onto your mat, which is great. A good reminder for all of us. So I'm going to click next. And my printer is already connected. Because my holders have a color all the way to the end, it's not white, there's a color, I'm going to add a bleed. So what the bleed does is it puts a little bit extra onto the cutout onto the print. It adds a little bit extra ink onto the print so that when it cuts, even if it cuts off a little bit, if it's a little bit off slightly, you're not going to see any white. it's going to show the color of your design. So I'm going to use the system dialog here because I want to adjust some of the settings. And this is my first time using the system dialog on a Windows. Who's proud of me? I'm learning how to use a Windows. All right, so I'm using a glossy photo paper. So I'm going to choose glossy photo paper. And I'm going to choose high quality. Okay, and then I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to print. So my print is just happening. Okay, so while that is printing, I will show you what you need when you are calibrating your machine. So when you are calibrating your machine, you need one of these calibration sheets, which you can print from Cricut Design Space. It's actually pretty easy to calibrate your machine. There are steps from start to finish on how to do it. And then you can see here on our screen, it's just telling you the right way to put your design, the right way to put your print onto the mat, and a few hints to make sure that you get it right. Candace said she's never seen a printing cut. So a good tip, Candace, from me when it comes to printing cut is it's very easy. Like I said before, if you don't flatten your words, for example, onto your base properly, it might cut out your words, or, you know, something when you're still learning how to do printing cuts, and I still do this now, even though I've done it a few times, is when I do my first printing cut, I always do it on normal copy paper, just to make sure that it's cutting out exactly the way I want to do it. I do that before I use my fancy photo paper or my sticker paper, whatever it is, so that I know that I got my project right. But printing cut is pretty cool. You can make so much with it. And if you use this design that I've created, or if you make it a little bit smaller as well, there's so many cute little designs you can do, you know, like the lady with the a bun. You could do a wedding ring as well, and just below the diamond is where the scrunchie would go. It's very cute. It makes a very cute bridesmaid gift. But printing cut definitely allows you to do some pretty cool projects and customize things. So I'm gonna come over here to the mat. So this is our print that's done. The colors are really vibrant. You can't really see here. So what we need to do is, you can see here there's an arrow, and that arrow needs to go at the top corner of the mat, which is what Design Space was telling us. So I'm gonna line this up as best as I can. And because my mat is quite new, I'm not going to bray. So I always say bring your project down. I'm not going to press down my print too much because I know that my mat is quite new. So I'm just very gently rolling it with my brayer. I will still use my brayer because when your project is stuck on your mat really well, that's when you get very good cuts. So here my mat is ready to go. Let's go back to Design Space. Okay, so I'm going to click done, and here I'm going to choose copy paper, photo paper, sorry, photo paper. Oh, I can't spell today. Photo paper, there you go. And you could, depending on the photo paper that you use, you could do I can't find photo paper. There you go. You could do light cardstock as well. A light cardstock would work. I've tested it on the photo paper setting and that works perfectly. So now I'm going to load this into the machine. And then what it's going to do is it's going to scan these registration lines, and that's how it knows where it's going to cut. Something that I do when I'm working with print then cut. So at the moment I have a big light up here, and I've got like 3 lights on at the moment. When I'm working with print then cut, especially if I'm working with glossy paper, I make sure I have very little lighting, very little lights on. When the sensor is scanning these registration lines, if there's too much light or it's making a reflection, it can read the registration lines not so great. So you can see here, you can actually see my light right where the registration line was. You could see my light there, right there. And so that could throw off the alignment or the reading of the sensor a little bit. So what I do is I just make sure there's no direct light on here. Okay, and now it's going to do our cut. So first it's cutting out my little cutouts on this one. And now it's cutting the outline. So with the photo paper, it does cut twice, which is great. So Candace said, that's insane and so cool. It is very cool, Candace. So as I said before, at the end of the class, I will show you very quickly how to calibrate your machine. If you calibrate your machine when you're doing print and cut, you will get the best cuts. Okay, so my cut is done. I'm going to unload. Well, you always have to calibrate actually. So let me see if I can show you here what adding a bleed does. I don't think you can see. So wait, maybe if I pull this up. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, we don't need the machine. Let me move it away. Okay. So when you are working with cardstock, we don't want to pull the cardstock off the mat, and I'm going to show you why now. If you're pulling your cardstock off your mat, what you're doing is you're going to warp your design, you're going to warp your image. So we don't want to ever pull our cardstock off. So a tip that I like is I place my protective sheet down, turn the mat over and pull the mat away. The mat's not going to break. They're pretty strong, she says after she broke one, but the mats won't break. So you can very gently pull your mat back, and you can see I'm holding down my print. You can also use your spatula to do this. I just prefer to use my hand, and you can see here again, this is what happens when you pull your project or your design off your mat. So I'm just going to put my cover back on. So here I think I am going to be able to show you, oopsie, what the bleed does. So you can see here there's a piece of my design over there. So the edge of my design, this is what the bleed is. It's just made a little bit extra, or it's extended my design a little bit more, so that when it cuts, even if it cuts a little bit off, you're not going to see the white there. You're still going to see the color of my design. So that is what the bleed is. When I'm doing white, if I don't have a background, how gorgeous is that? If I don't have a background, like this has got a color, if it's just white, I usually don't add a bleed because it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But how stunning did that come out? So that's the one. There's the other. And let's put the scrunchie on this gorgeous lady with the flower crown. So like I said before, my scrunchie is pretty, so you just put it on and move it around until it looks like a cute little top or a cute little dress, whatever it is. Let me put that down. That actually helped hold it. It looks like a cute little dress, like a little ruffle top. Who likes wearing ruffles? Not me. Okay, let's bring back my other two. So that is it. So this is the one that doesn't have the cutouts. Like I said, my scrunchie is not too tight, but it's not a loose scrunchie either. So I don't actually need to use the cutouts, but I'll show you pretty much what that looks like as well. So you can see it will go in there. The scrunchie will go in those cutouts and it will hold. The last one that I did, I made sure that I used the cutouts because my purple scrunchie, well, it wasn't a scrunchie actually. My purple one was just like a frilly hairband. That one definitely needed the cutouts, but this one doesn't. So if you were